Hey everyone, welcome to Points in the Paint, brought to you by For Fantasy's Sake, sponsored by Yard Barbers. I apologize for my voice tonight. It's a little hoarse because I was literally screaming at my TV during Monday night's championship game at Gonzaga because they let me down. Sam, I don't remember if you had Gonzaga winning or if you had Baylor winning, but
I had Gonzaga winning, but I mean, to lose like that was pretty bad. Just to
they
get
got out rebounded.
it's
They they just
outplayed.
they looked lost.
Yeah.
They didn't look like they didn't want to be there, didn't know what they were doing, and it was just a lot of stupid mental mistakes that a team of Gonzaga's caliber should not be making. So it was just a frustrating game for me, um, because yes, I did have money on the game. Thankfully, it wasn't like a super big amount, because I do know people that lost a lot more money than I did, but it
Jeez.
was still frustrating to say the least.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I mean, it reminded me of the Denver Seattle Super Bowl, where like you're just like throttled, like you don't even
yeah,
have a chance. Like it's like geez. I mean, and like to see Gonzaga get to that point and then lose like that's tough to swallow. Um, yeah, that's tough.
yeah. However, I think the best game of the week that I've seen was the Sunday night women's championship game.
Did not see that.
That came down to the wire, and
Wire.
Arizona played. They played their asses off. I mean, it was a competitive game. Arizona was. I think they led only a couple times throughout the game, but for the most part, Stanford just they just they played really well, and the women just here's where it was confusing. Arizona forced nearly 20 turnovers,
Jeez.
and they end up losing by 1 point. So
That's tough. That's tough.
when you look at it from that angle, you can't have that many turnovers or get that many turnovers and lose a basketball game. That tells me you're not translating that into points on the other end. You're not doing what you need to do to put points on the board. You're not going to win the game. Um, the fact that it even came down to one shot was absolutely insane, which um, Arizona's point guard looked like she was fouled. It was questionable. I don't think it was enough to be called. I also don't think that should even be taking that last shot. And she heaved up a 3-point shot with like three people around her while she was falling away. And the fact that it even hit the rim and almost went in was insane. So it was definitely a good basketball game, best basketball game I've seen, probably possibly in a tournament aside from the Gonzaga beating UCLA, the overtime thriller. But we are now past college basketball. We are on to NBA, and our Bulls right now they're whooping up on the Raptors. I'm thinking they're gonna be able to waltz away with a win there.
They're playing tonight.
Yeah, they're playing right
I
now.
forgot. The Raptors just lost to the Lakers, and I was hoping we can catch the Raptors. Oh yeah, the Raptors are. I'm hoping we can. Yeah, if we're beating up on them, that's good. We looked good versus Indiana, and I was actually surprised we beat Indiana by that much because I thought
Mm-hmm.
Indiana. But I think Indiana lost Sabonis. I think he's out. Yeah, I think he was out right before the All Star break. I remember he had an injury. So that's tough. That's tough for Indy because they just got Karis LeVert back, but now they lose Sabonis.
With 5 minutes left, the Bulls are up 112-96.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Looks like we cleaned. Our defense is better. I think
Yeah,
we're kind of figuring it out. Um,
I will say that we're playing the Raptors, so I don't
yeah,
want to
I
say that
know,
our
I know,
defense
I
is
know,
super
I
good.
know. And they don't have Van Fleet because he got suspended for that I guess the fight with the Lakers. But OG Anunoby's playing. That's weird. I didn't see that scuffle thing, but I heard about it, and I heard that Anunoby threw somebody down, so I figured he'd be.
So what happened was Schroeder fouled Anunoby, and to keep Anunoby from falling, Schroeder kind of held him up. But the way that their momentum was carrying him was making it look like that Schroeder was kind of getting ready to like throw him. But their momentum finally stopped, and Anunoby reached down and just like, I don't know what he was doing, but it looked like he didn't mean to sweep Schroeder's leg, and Schroeder ended up falling. Schroeder got upset, and it was blown way out of proportion, more than it needed to be, but because Schroeder could tell that he was, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, trying to keep OG from falling. And then Anunoby, as soon as he got up and accidentally swept his leg, he was kind of like, looked over and he was like, wait, what? What just happened? So it was a misunderstanding, and team's benches cleared. A lot of players got involved. VanVleet, obviously. I was also a little surprised that Gary Trent was out there.
Dude, I'm looking at his stats now. Toronto got a steal and getting Gary Trent Jr. That he can play, man. He just needed more. He was playing in Portland behind CJ and Dame, but him and that other guard that was in Portland, Anthony Simons, they're both really good guards who just need time. And he's in Toronto now. I mean, Kyle Lowry's probably gone after next season. I'm looking at his stats now. He's struggling today versus the Bulls, 2 for 14. But that's a nice piece for them moving forward, along with the other young guys they have, Siakam and Boucher.
But yeah, I don't, like I said, I saw the fight. I saw everything that was going on. The bench players got involved a little unnecessarily, but
it's the NBA.
You gotta protect your boys, protect your players, protect your teammates that are next to you. So something interesting that I saw actually it was early today. Andrew Bogut has a podcast and was talking about it, and this is where the whole Kelly Oubre thing got brought up. We were talking about before the show. So Kelly Oubre not really playing up to the standards that I think the Warriors would have liked for him to be playing at. He's averaging 15 points a game, just under 1.5 assists, nearly 7 rebounds, but this is all across 31 minutes per game. Do you think that as a guy for Oubre's talent level, is that enough, or are you expecting more out of him?
I can expect more out of him, especially given that Clay's out. But I think too, I wonder if it's a bad fit. I wonder if Oubre. I mean, I wonder if he plays better with the ball in his hands, or he needs the ball in his hands more. But then you're also trying to fit in Steph, and Steph needs his touches and everything. And then obviously Draymond Green plays a little point forward for them. They do have a big and James Wiseman, so there's a lot of different mouths to feed. I think moving forward, like I think he can adjust because he's a professional and he can learn to play better. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, you saw D'Angelo Russell go to Golden State and he kind of struggled too, and it wasn't a good fit. And D'Angelo Russell is like another example of somebody who needs the ball in their hands. Like they're not. I don't know if he's playing off the ball much or what.
Well, Bogut had it on. This is what he says. Bogut had it on very good authority that there was a trade that popped up, and the Warriors actually shot this down. That it would have been Kelly Oubre, a lower level pick, Kelly Oubre, maybe somebody else, for Lonzo Ball and a draft pick. And the Warriors said no.
Yeah, they want to hold on to Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre is young. He's still. I mean, he's dynamite. He can go off of these points. You know, it's possible. You know, it's just he hasn't really figured out his niche in Golden State. In Golden State, they pass the ball a lot. So,
but for a team you've got Steph, you've got Wiggins, Klay Thompson is coming back next year. You got Draymond down there. You brought up Wiseman. Where do you see? I mean, Oubre is not going to be a starter next year.
I see him coming off the bench and just being a 20-plus like point scorer off the bench. I see him being like a Lou Williams, for Golden State.
He went on an interview and he explicitly said, "I am not a bench guy."
Man, do you want to win or not? That's pretty much what it comes down to. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, I get the mindset that you're the best, so you should come on the bench. But I mean, if you have a chance to win a championship, I just think you do whatever you have to do.
Yeah, it got brought up, and I sat there and I thought about it. And if I'm the Warriors, and I know I'm probably not going to be starting Oubre next year,
no,
and he's coming out there saying, "Well, I'm not a bench guy. There's no way that I'm, playing for a team that's not, starting me." Why would I not dish him out for somebody to bring somebody else in and get a draft pick out of it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Golden State and you're hearing that, then yeah, you do that. You get drafted because you still have Andrew Wiggins and you still have enough like other guys that you can maybe sign another veteran. You can get an Otto Porter Jr. or another. You can draft somebody too in this upcoming draft, and then you can get another draft pick so you can keep the youth movement going. And I mean, depending on what draft pick you get, you can probably get a player who, upper junior or senior who can come in and step in and kind of contribute right away. You don't have to wait on another young player. You can get somebody who's out of college, but more experience.
Yeah, most certainly. But I don't know. I just didn't like the attitude from Oubre, and I think the Warriors made the wrong in not moving him in that situation.
They probably should have.
But we can stay in the West. Boogie Cousins is with the Clippers.
Really?
Yes.
I think I don't even care about that. I honestly, that wasn't doing. I mean, even when Rondo went over there, I'm like, Clippers.
Does this mean the Clippers can compete with the Lakers?
I mean, we gotta see how healthy Boogie is. That's the thing. Boogie looks good in stretches, but can he keep it up?
Well, I mean, the Lakers now, a fully healthy Lakers team. You'd have LeBron, you'd have AD, you'd have Drummond. You go over to the Clippers, you got Paul George there, Kawhi Leonard, and then now they've added Boogie. They've added in Rondo. Are those teams even close to the same level? Take injuries out of it. Everybody is at full health.
The Clippers they'll be formidable, yeah. They'd be definitely formidable. Especially with Rondo running the point, Kawhi and Paul George, and yeah, they'll be formidable. It won't be easy, but I still like us more over them in a series. I still think we could turn it up defensively. And we can, KCP and Caruso and other Town Horton Tucker could just like erupt, and provide that extra piece. I mean, of AD and I mean, obviously AD being out for so long too, that worries me. But LeBron's there. You still got Trez. You have enough veterans. You have some young guys who can give you that extra push. So I like us. A Kuzma, pick us up some games. Maybe Morris hits a couple big shots some days.
I don't know. That's going to be a very good series if they wind up meeting in the Western playoffs because playoff Rondo is incredible.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
Speaking of playoffs, we were about 20 games out from the end of the season. So it is crunch time for a lot of these teams. Western playoff race, would you say that it is pretty much decided, or is there a way that teams that are on the bubble right now, like the Spurs and the Warriors, can manage to find their way into a lower seed?
I like to see the Warriors get in. Spurs, the Spurs could get in as well. I mean, the Spurs at least be in the play-in game. They'll be in the conversation. I like to see the Warriors get in. I like to see Drake. I like to see Wiseman playoffs and stuff back in the playoffs. But Spurs, I mean, they'll be in the conversation. I'm not sure how the bottom of the West looks. I haven't really. Memphis is Memphis in. Let's see. I got it pulled up right here.
Memphis has the 8th seed.
Oh,
Dallas is at 7.
Oh, I want to see what the Pelicans. I mean, dude, the Pelicans too. If the Pelicans don't make it this year, then I'm looking at them like, man, you guys are disappointments. I mean, I thought you guys won the Anthony Davis trade. That's what everybody kept saying. And the Lakers got a championship out of it. So, I mean, that was the end goal.
Yeah.
But you guys, the Pelicans, haven't done anything.
So the Pelicans are 5 games back from the 8th seed.
Man. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I mean, if you're the Pelicans, I mean, what are you going to lose out in the playoffs again and get another draft another young player? And, oh, yeah, we got him and Lonzo. And, I mean, you got rid of J.J. Redick, so you need veterans to surround among your youth. I mean, but Sacramento's terrible. Sacramento's like a black hole franchise. Houston, you're going to get a top draft pick because obviously James Harden left. And you probably have other draft picks too as well from trading some of your other players. So you can rebuild and be right back in there. Minnesota Timberwolves, you're going to have a top 5 draft pick again. Jeez, the Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves are, in my opinion, the 76ers of 5 years.
Detroit, you're going to have another top draft pick, or Orlando, Washington.
Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor, Simmons, Embiid, and just all these number 1 picks coming in.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to draft. Like, you have to make sure you're hitting on the draft. Like, the draft is key.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, the Bulls. So the Bulls won over the Raptors by 9. They made it interesting late. But Toronto, they got a little sloppy. Levine 22, and Vucevic 22, Pat Williams 11, Thaddeus 11, Tice 14, Kobe White 15, Markkanen 18. I like that point distribution. Yeah.
Yeah. No. God damn it, cat. No. Yeah, no, the Bulls definitely, made it interesting towards the end. Like you said, 9 points. I expected them to keep that distance that they had, but a win's a win. And I think that's number 3 in a row for them, if I'm remembering right. But yeah, the Western playoffs I think it's set pretty much. I really do. I don't really see many of these teams getting booted out. Memphis could have been booted out had Ja Morant's injury been more serious than it was. But Ja's playing like Ja, so I don't think you're going to be able to stop him. Dallas, obviously it's the Luka and Kristaps show, and the other teams, I mean, those are locks. Your Blazers, your Lakers, your Nuggets, those are all locks for this year in the playoffs and pretty much every year for the next, I would say, at least 2-3 seasons. But, I'd like to see San Antonio make a run at it, but I don't know that they can do it. San Antonio is on a 4-game losing streak right now.
I definitely tried to.
So it's just one of those things where I don't see it for them. Golden State, maybe, if they can pick their act back up and figure it out. But I know they're not happy with their sub 500 record right now.
But they got a lot of new pieces and they're merging back in, and they're still in the thick of it. You get Clay back, and yeah.
Yep, so
I like Golden State's future.
Not a Golden State guy, so I do not share your same enthusiasm.
Not really. I think their roster lineup is exciting.
But then we go over to the East. The East is still going to be super crazy. Obviously, we still got the 4 seed all the way down to the Bulls and the Pacers were on the bubble, and 4.5 games separating the what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. That's nuts. It's going to be crunch time, and it's going to be a dogfight.
Man, Boston's literally Boston's teetering.
Bulls keep playing like they are, and I think they'll find their way into maybe that 8th seed. The Knicks, they've lost 2 straight. I don't know what's going on with them.
The who? The Knicks?
The Knicks.
The Knicks. And Malik Monk's out for a couple weeks. LaMelo Ball had surgery. He had surgery on the fractured right wrist. Jeez, that's crazy. Didn't look like that was that bad of an injury.
Hey, but I mean, sometimes those injuries, you go and get them checked out, and there's more than meets the eye with it. I mean, you even saw that with the KD injury.
Yeah, the force didn't look that intense, but yeah, all these games now are getting down to the nitty-gritties. I mean, like the Milwaukee's Dallas. I mean, I think Dallas is in. Cleveland, OKC. That's just a game you want to tank. Lakers, Miami. The Lakers are just trying to get to the end of the season. Miami's just scrapping for anything.
Well, Miami's trying to keep their ground in the Eastern playoffs because they've dropped to a 6th seed.
Yeah.
So they're a half a game back, half a game ahead, half a game back from the Hawks, and half a game ahead of the Celtics. They're right at above 500. Keep in mind, the Bulls are still a game or 2 back from some of these other teams.
Yeah. Yep.
So they very well could bump up all of a sudden and find their way to that 8th seed. It's very easy for them to do so. It's a very real possibility. But it's just, can they maintain that momentum?
That's the thing. You want to be playing your best basketball at this time. I think we can. I think we're starting to figure it out. Zach and Vucevic are dynamic scorers, and they're a problem. And we have the youth. We just have to commit to playing defense.
Vucevic has gone off lately.
Yeah.
He's done really well. That was a huge trade, and
yeah. So I agree.
A very, very important piece going forward, I think. Hopefully he stays.
No.
But yeah, I mean, we're kind of right in the middle of that, coming up and on the playoffs. I mean, we'll have a few games left, or a few games passed over the next week. Where do you see some of these teams ending up? Let's say the Knicks and the Celtics fall out of the playoff race.
Knicks and the Celtics?
Knicks and the Celtics. So that frees up 2 spots. Do you think that means the Bulls and the Pacers get in? Or do you think that Toronto winds up making a big run and gets in at a last spot?
I see Toronto making it over the Pacers, especially if Sabonis is out. But I think the Pacers might
say that is because the Pacers are currently at 50 games. Raptors are at 51. Obviously 52 now because the game with the Bulls has not been recorded. But so the Pacers are a game ahead of the Raptors, and they also have 3 more wins.
I don't know what the Pacers. It just depends on if Sabonis comes back for the Pacers. If he does, then maybe they can squeeze in and make a run. But otherwise, I can see Toronto making a run. Before I see the Pacers, I can see. I definitely see Chicago though. I see Chicago making, sneaking in. I think we we're playing some of our best basketball. And our schedule's kind of favorable, too. Like, it was pretty grueling. Like, at first when we lost those 6 games, we were playing Utah, like all these contenders. But I think it's favorable. I mean, maybe we can catch Boston and beat Boston because Boston's not that good. I thought Charlotte would tumble out, too. Charlotte actually stood pat even when after Melo went down. I thought Charlotte would kind of flounder.
The Bulls have the momentum right now, and things are falling into place. The stage is set for them to get into the playoffs. They just need to do their job. They need to do their job, go out, win basketball games, and make sure they get in. Just a question if they do. Because as Bulls fans, we know the Bulls can be the Bulls.
Oh, you can't see me.
Yeah, I see your shadow, the ghost of Sam.
I'm stretching off to the side. I was a little stiff.
Well, you're good. But yeah, I mean, playoff race is heating up. It's going to be exciting here in the next few weeks because then we'll be able to take looks at playoff matchups.
That's where you really break it down. That's where we can. I'm gonna have to preview some of these series. I think we're gonna have to. I wonder what the best way for me to do that. I wonder if I should write an article or we should just go live and talk. Well, I guess we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out when the time comes. But yeah, I mean, this segment tonight, I didn't really find a whole lot going on besides
nothing really. Just getting ready to the playoffs. Really, that's the only thing for the NBA is getting ready to the playoffs and college basketball. Who's coming? Who's staying? Who's going? Dosunmu from Illinois is going. He declared, which I thought was smart. I think that's the only one I know about. Still wait to see about Suggs, and I'm pretty sure Garza's going. I think, yeah. And I guess we'll wait to see who else. Anybody from Kentucky or Duke or Michigan State.
I don't know. I don't know if Suggs goes.
Yeah, I don't know. He could stay. He can go. They're projecting him to go, obviously, but I think he might stay.
I think
we'll see.
I think, in all honesty, that championship game is going to hurt his ego, and I think he's going to want to stay and try and win a ship with Gonzaga. That just watching him and seeing the kind of player he is, I don't foresee him.
Yeah, leaving on that note. I got you. I completely get it.
But that's all I had for tonight. I don't know if you had anything else or that you saw anything that you were like, oh, we got to talk about this.
No, I'm really just waiting for the playoffs for the NBA. I'm just counting. That's when it really gets going, and college basketball's over, so I can kind of put that in rear view. There's other sports, obviously baseball started, as well, and that's pretty much it. Just waiting down these dog days to the matchups get set.
For sure, man. Well, we are going to call it an early night then. For fantasy's sake, this has been Points in the Paint from Andrew and Sam. We will be live again next Thursday at 8:30 to talk about more NBA basketball. Hopefully, we'll have some more stories for you. We'll be able to talk about, have a better idea who's making the playoffs. We'll see some separation in both the West and the East. And get a clear idea of some matchups that we can predict and kind of go from there. But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week.
Peace.